Hello there guys, it's your boy Blue here, back in another video, and today I'm going to do what if Deku was betrayed / framed part 2. Hope you enjoy it. Since you guys enjoyed last part, here we go again. So like always, a quick recap, but if you somehow missed last part, click on I button right here. And like always, 600 likes and I will make part 3. So last part, Deku, well, got betrayed, but not by all class 1A, I explained why in the last part. And I will tell them why I choose them after the recap. So after Shigaraki had enough from Stain, he snapped and decided to break one of the two people that he deemed worthy. Deku, so by the help of All for One and the magic of editing. And by using the traitor, they sent it to Kaminari, and he believed it because he's a traitor. He showed it to his group and Oraka. Yeah, the story is named Betrayed, so we need someone to betray Deku. Sorry Oraka's fans, but I had to do it. So after they saw the video, Bakugo got enraged and they decided to beat him up, except Minata. He went to talk to Aizawa after he heard their plan. Sadly they arrived late because Oraka called Deku to meet her, and it was an ambush and everyone beat him up to the point of breaking both of his legs, his right arm, and give him a nice face like Savatar. So after Aizawa stopped them and Mike took Deku to Recovery Girl, Aizawa berated them for doing that, especially after seeing the video and it's fake. So Recovery Girl tried her best to heal Deku, but he have permanent damage, like he's blind by his right eye, and his right arm is broken beyond repair. He can use it, but one more 100% smash and it's fully gone. On the other hand, the group is getting berated by Aizawa and Nizu, and he told them that they messed up, especially Bakugo, and after they told him why, he lost, and he told them that Deku always looking down on him, and it took Mike everything that he have to stop Aizawa from beating Bakugo up. So Nizu told Bakugo to leave his school because his career just ended. He will never be a hero. And for the rest, they are temporarily suspended. So when Deku wake up and saw his state, he started crying because his best friend just betrayed him. He was going to call his mom, but Recovery Girl told him what happened with her coming and she passing out and hitting her head, and that made Deku snap a bit. He leaped from his bed, legs still broken, and he started running, but doing his run, they start healing, and in the way he met up with Class 1A and the one that betrayed him. Bakugo blamed Deku for everything and he punched him. Class 1A's boys restrained him, but it was too late. Deku fully snapped. He kicks Bakugo out of the way, literally, and he started beating the one that betrayed him by breaking Kurishima's arm, burning Mina's face, punching and shocking Kaminari really hard, and a juicy one. He crushed Oraka's hand by just grabbing it and crushing it like a piece of paper or something. Then he knocked her out by giving her the Loki treatment. Then Aizawa wrapped Deku with his scarf and told him to stop, but then Deku immediately gone full berserk, his eyes turned red, and he's fully healed instantly. He break free from Aizawa's scarf, then he grabbed him and knee him in the gut, knocking him out. Then he flew at Bakugo and started beating him up. Then the big three tried to help him, with Mirio holding him off and Nijiri and Tamaki taking Bakugo away. But Mirio soon realized that Deku is growing during their fight, and soon after that he was able to overpower him. So they tried to take Bakugo away from Deku as a last result, but Deku is not letting them do that. He's easily able to keep up with Nijiri, even learning how to fly and shoot Ki Blast almost instantly. So that forced Nijiri to let go of Bakugo and he resumed his beatdown. They tried to stop him, but to no avail. Then after Deku burned Bakugo's hand using his Ki Blast to the point of they cannot be used again, just like some of you pointed out, he's quirkless now. Then right before Deku delivered the finishing blow, All Might knocked him out. After that, everyone was taken to Recovery Girl. So when Deku wake up, at first he didn't remember anything. Then someone or something was whispering inside his ear and telling him what happened. So Deku remember, and after he told or demanded to know where his mom is from Recovery Girl, he leave, and in a way, Class 1's teachers tried to stop him with Nizu, but Deku told them he already know the drill, so don't even bother. Aizawa tried to talk to him, but Deku just had enough. He pushed him against the wall and he told him what Bakugo did to him all these years back. And because of him, his mom is hurt. Then he gave them a special line. Stain was right, every hero is a fake. Then Deku power up one for all and run out of UA. All Might is barely holding on to his muscular form so he cannot go after him. So Nizu dispatch robots, but because Deku's anger, he got a slight power boost and he easily went through them. Then he went straight to see his mom, and when he arrived and saw her state, he cried his eyes out. And all of this is because of Bakugo. And I think that's it with the summary, so let's begin. Okay, before we start, why I specifically choose these four. First, Kaminari, he's an idiot. Plain simple. And before you can say Mineta is in the same boat, I will give him some props. The dude is clever. Even whenever we see him enjoying his free time, he's sometimes studying. Plus he's in the top 5 in class in terms of study. So yes, he's a pervert. He's a coward. But he's not an idiot. Okay, second, Kirishima. The reason I chose him is because of his past. To be more precise is when the time he failed to save the 2 girls and Mina stepped in. He still felt defeated because of that, and we even saw that in a flashback in canon. So for him, and because of Bakugo's pushing, it was a golden opportunity to redeem himself. And for Mina, we can see that she doesn't think before she acts. So combine her personality with what happened in USJ, and someone just told her that we know the culprit, I think that she will do it. Bakugo, well, should I say it, he hit Deku, plain and simple. The only reason he is not redeeming himself is after All Might retired because of him. So not going to lie, compared to Endeavor Redeem arc, it's a bit weak, not going to lie. And by the way, this is my opinion, so don't start hating me because of it, okay? I know everyone has their own opinion about it. You can like it, you can dislike it, whatever. It's your choice. Lastly, Oraka. So here's the thing, it's a bit of a stretch, but hear me out. We all know that at this point of time, she have a crush on Deku. Bakugo literally said that to her face. So when he told her that she's in love with a traitor, so she can hide that fact, she decided to go with them. Plus this story is named What If Deku Was Betrayed, so I need someone to betray him. And I need someone close. I can't and I will not do either because I explained in last part, so I have only left Oraka. And for Deku's mom, here's the thing, Deku got beaten up, to the point of he almost died. So how long do you think they will be able to hide that fact from her? At best, a couple of months. And one more thing, I know a couple of you guys ask me how did Bakugo know about how do you think that Deku got his quirk from the villains. Here's the thing, Shigaraki did say that the Nomu was built or something like that to beat All Might. So maybe you can think that he's a bit exaggerating. Then we have 3 other Nomus that 2 of them look almost the same as the other one from the USJ, attack Husu. So you don't need 2 brain cells to understand that those things are not alive or not human. Because what are the chances of a family of 4 guys have multiple and powerful quirks, and one of them is able to give All Might a run for his money, and 2 of them need to endeavor to beat them up. So I don't know about you, but for me that's pretty obvious that something not natural is happening. Anyway, this rant is going long enough, so let's begin this part, shall we? So after Deku saw the state of his mom, his eyes turned red, but he snapped out of it when the doctor asked him is he okay. He shook his head and told him, what do you think? Sorry kid. Will she wake up? Deku asked him. The doctor did not reply. Will she? Deku yelled. The doctor sighed. Look kid, there is not any other way to say it, but the chances of her waking up are extremely low. Deku's heart broke even more. Then the doctor added, on top of that, by my estimate, and if she doesn't wake up, I will give her a year to live. Because after that, if she doesn't show any sign of healing, she's basically brain dead, kid. Deku just stood there. Then the doctor told him, I will give you some time alone. Then he leave. Deku started crying, asking himself, why me? Why? I did nothing wrong. You're right. You did nothing wrong. It's because of him. It's because people like him. You're right. So after this, Deku saw his state, or to be precise, his clothes, and they're completely torn. I need to change. Then he looked at his mom. I will be back. Then he left to his house. Meanwhile, at UA, the one that betrayed Deku just woke up and saw the state that they are in. Recovery Girl was a bit sympathetic toward them, but Aizawa told them, you reap what you sow. Aizawa, what? Aizawa growled. You know what they did. I will not sugarcoat it. Even though I don't agree with his method, I understand why he did it. So do you. Recovery Girl stayed quiet. So because they are out for a bit, They called their parents, so they arrived and saw their state. Needless to say, they were shocked and dumbfounded. And when the betrayed one, except Bakugo, saw their parents, they start crying. They apologize, and then their parents get angry and tell them who did it and what happened. Aizawa bluntly and coldly tell them they reap what they sow. What? They shout at him, then Nizu come in and tell Aizawa to shut it. Aizawa did. So after that, a very upset mouse tell them to calm down. Oraka's parents shout and tell him, calm down? Look at her hand. So tell me, who did it, now? Nizu went from slightly annoyed to pissed really quick and tell him, this is my school, remember? So he shut up and tell him, look, do you want to know what happened? To put it bluntly, just like Aizawa told you, they reap what they sow. They tell him to explain, then he looked at them and he told them what they did. Betraying Deku, beating him close to death, Bakugo almost killing him if it was not for Aizawa. And after hearing that, Mitsuki froze in shock, and Oraka's parents tell them that this Midoriya sounds familiar. Of course he does, Aizawa replied. He's the one who saved your daughter during entrance exam by sacrificing both of his legs and arm. And he's the same guy that sacrificed all his fingers and his chance at victory during the sport festival to help his classmate. Oraka's parents are shocked, then they look at her. Then Aizawa continued, so please, for the love of God, tell me, how do you think that someone like that can be the traitor? Even if he was, we don't kill villains. They basically did. If it wasn't for me, Izuku will be dead. But sadly, something worse happened to him because of that. Something worse? Aizawa sighed and he told them his mom. Mitsuki perked up and he told him, Inko, what happened to her? Aizawa looked at her and he told her that she know her. She nods. Well, she's currently in hospital, in a coma. All of them froze. You're lying, right? Aizawa glared at them and he told them, do you really think so? Then the parents start asking their kids why they did that. Oraka cried and she told them that she was overwhelmed. Kaminari mostly stayed quiet, same with Kirishima because they know they messed up bad. Mina cried and apologized profusely. And for Bakugo, Mitsuki asked him why. He was your childhood friend. Why? Aizawa scoffed. Childhood friend? Please. Mitsuki told him, what do you mean? Aizawa glared at her and he told her he was his childhood bully, not friend. Then he proceeded to tell her what he did to Deku all these years. Basically a decade if you think about it. Mitsuki looked at Bakugo in shock and horrified. She knew that he's a bit hard-headed, but she was going to punch him, but Aizawa stopped her and he told her that Izuku already did enough damage. It will take him months to heal. On top of that, then he looked strict at him. He will never be a hero because his hands are beyond repair. Even after they heal, he will only have 20% of their mobility back, and he will never, ever be able to use his quirk again. Bakugo looked in shock. You mean that just like how Deku was, quirkless. Ironic, don't you think? You become the thing that you hate the most. Aizawa, that's enough, Nizu tell him. So here's what will happen, Nizu told them. They can stay here for a night because they cannot move for now. But, Bakugo Katsuki, like I told you, you don't belong here, with or without quirk. And for the others, for now, you are suspended. Then Oraka perked up and she told them what about Deku. Aizawa looked down. He ran away. What? Yeah, we are currently searching for him, but so far, nothing. We did hear that he passed by his mom earlier, but now we don't know. And by the way, All Might cannot search for him because, like I said, time limit. At least he cannot search for him in his buff form. Then Bakugo speak up and he told them he should be running, because when I get my hands on him... Okay, that's enough, Bakugo! Aizawa shout, then Mike grab him. All of this happened because of you and your big ego. So let me tell you something, if somehow Miss Midoriya doesn't survive this, I will personally see that you will not have a future. Aizawa, calm down, Mike tell him. Mike, Nizu tell him, take him outside, he needs some air. He did with the help of other teachers, and everyone, especially the students, were shocked about Aizawa's outburst. They always saw him as a court person, but now they saw a side of him that they are surprised to see. So after this, the students were left to heal, with the parents mostly blaming Bakugo for this. And because Bakugo is always shouting, Midnight had to knock him out. Outside of UA, Aizawa and All Might are searching for Deku, but sadly there is no trace of him. They went to his house and they told him that he was there a couple of hours ago, but now they don't know. They went to the hospital once again and they told him that he was there, but because visiting hours were over, he was told to leave even though he didn't want to. They understand and they tell them next time he come to call them. They were a bit weirded out, but because poor heroes asked them, they accepted. Back to Deku, when he was kicked out of the hospital because visiting hours were over, he doesn't feel like going back home because it's just too lonely and painful to be there. So he's walking around the city thinking of what to do next because, well, the last 12 hours were something. And now he's calmed down a bit, he starts thinking, what is this power? He never felt that much power before. He felt like he's invincible. On top of that, it felt nostalgic. It can't be right because it's the first time he used this power. Doesn't matter, you're able to get your revenge. You're right. Wait, I'm talking to myself or what? I'm going crazy? Well, considering what happened, I will not be shocked. Then, by the corner of his eye, Deku saw someone jumping from roof to roof. Aizawa. He quickly hid. They are searching for me, huh? Well, it's obvious. To put you behind bars and blame you for everything. Bunch of fakes. Stain was right. Luckily, Deku changed clothes like I told you earlier, so they cannot spot him from afar, but he was careful to not be spotted. He knew that they will search for him in two places, his house or the hospital. For the hospital, visiting hours are over, so he doubted they are going to stay there anymore, so the next logical place is his house. He can stay out for a while, but because of Aizawa, he doubted he can stay hiding for too long. So he needs to sneak into his house without being seen. But not now. For now, he just going around the city to pass time and thinking of his next step and his past and what led to this happening. And all these questions, or most of them, have one answer: Bakugo. Because of him, he doesn't have any friends, or real friends. Because of him, he was always anxious talking to new people. Because of him, his mom is in this state. But from now on, he will not hurt anyone again. Right, Deku smirk. After this passed over the few hours and Deku decided to go back home, he did make sure that no one is around the house or the area to see him. He doesn't want to be near any one of those fakes. They already hurt him enough. But to be careful, he used one for all to speed toward his house, and he realized that he's faster, but he's only using 5%. Whatever happened to him earlier made him stronger. Not by a large amount, but still, for him it's a lot. So with this, fast forward to the next day, and because of what happened, Nizo decided to give a week off to everyone in school to sort things out. Plus, he need Almighty Aizawa to search for Deku. Same for Hondog and Ectoplasm because he saw Deku's strength and he's a bit afraid of what will happen if someone trigger him. And considering what just happened, that can happen easily. So while they're searching for him, Deku went to see his mom. He have nothing else to do. Then suddenly he heard the door open and it's Mitsuki. So when she saw Inka on the bed, she started crying. But when she saw Deku's eyes, she just froze. They are motionless. This is not the kid that she knew before, and all of this, it's because of her son. On the other hand, for Deku, he started getting angry. All of this just because of her son. She was going to speak up, but Deku told her to get out. What? Out! Now! Never come back! All of this is because of your brat. So leave, your family already hurt my family enough. Look Izuku, I know what Baku did to you. No, you know nothing, so shut it and leave. And this is your last warning. Leave on your own 2 feet or else. And when Deku said that, his eyes turned red. And Mitsuki can feel the pressure coming from him and it shocked her. She took a few steps back, then Deku get up, walk to the door, walk out and push her outside. Literally push her to the ground. The doctor told him what he's doing. Deku glare at him and tell him she's not family. And no one, and I mean no one, is allowed to see her. I don't give a damn who he is, even if he was a hero, even if he was Almighty himself. No one will see her except the doctors, especially her. Her family hurt us enough. And if I saw her or anyone else inside, you only will have yourself to blame on what will happen next. Then Deku's eyes glow red. Do I make myself clear, Doc? The doctor and everyone around them are terrified. He nods and tells him, okay kid, you got it. Then Deku turned around and walked inside the room, leaving everyone in shock and in fear a bit. But soon after that, Mitsuki started crying because she knew that all of this is because of her son. Not only her friend is in a coma, but he turned the kindest kid that she knew into this. So she gets up and starts walking. Back to Deku, he started thinking on how she have the guts to show her face here after what her son did. Well, he did get his attitude from his mom. Arrogant and prideful. Right. Wait, I'm talking to myself again? I don't think so, but why my thoughts are so loud? Then he looked at his mom, and he started thinking why this has happened, and why did they call him the traitor? He did nothing, he was just literally walking, then Oraka called him, and that happened. Well, Izuku, there is only one place you can find the answers of that question. Just thinking about it made him angry, but he need to know, he need answers. So he exits the hospital and make his way toward UA, and to not waste any time and make sure that not a lot of people can see him, he used his cloak to speed toward Nizu's office, and because of his power he's faster than before. So in a couple of seconds he arrived at Nizu's office. He just barged in without even knocking and he only found Nizu. You're here, good. Midoriya, you come back. Where were you? Yeah, enough the questions. I will ask them. What happened? What happened? I mean, why did they betray me? Why did they beat me up? I need answers, and I need them now. Okay, Nizu tell him, just let me call Aizawa, he have the evidence. BS, Deku yell. I'm not an idiot, Nizu. I know for sure that you have a copy, at the very least, with you. So either you tell me, or they will. They, Nizu said. Deku's eyes just turned red and Nizu understand. Okay, calm down. They are already beaten up. Not enough. If I was in control, I would have done more than this. Wait, in control? That's enough questions. Answers. Now. Nizu sighed and he got to his PC and showed him the video. Wait, that's not me, I was not— Wait a second, I remember these moves. I used them against Stain. This is fake. Nizu sighed once again and tell him, I know, but the others didn't. So all of this was just a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding my ass, Deku yell. After everything that I did, a simple video is all it took for them to betray me, friends and loyalty my ass. But this video made me realize something. I was an idiot to stop Stain. I should have let him be. He was right. Everyone is a fake. They only care about themselves. Then Deku turned around and started walking to the door. Nizu was going to call out for him, but Deku stopped, look at him with one eye and tell him, so tell your fakes to stop looking for me. You heroes already destroyed my life enough. Then Deku powered up one for all and ran out of UA. Nizu once again tried to stop him, but this time he knew that robots will not be enough. So he can only watch Deku going out of UA with newfound speed. And that made Nizu realize that Deku is stronger. Not as fast as when he was going berserk, but definitely faster than last time he saw him. So after this he called All Might and Aizawa and he explained the situation. So they were a bit defeated after hearing that, but Aizawa realized something. Deku never mentioned himself during his speech, he only mentioned his life. But his well-being or himself specifically, he didn't, only when he said they betrayed him. So he started putting the pieces together with Deku's past and or at very least what he told them. So he realized that he thinks that everyone betrayed him, not only them. All Might tell him to explain, then Aizawa tell him it's just like he told us. He thinks that we will take Bakugo's side. This happened not because of his betrayed or his mom. Whatever happened was something building up for a while. And the recent event were the last push or the trigger for whatever happened. Because whatever was fighting that day was not Deku. All Might was shocked and tell him what do you mean and explain now. I don't know if it was just a fluke or what, but when he knocked me out, not only his attack was powerful, but his attack was precisely at the center of my body, and from what Mirio told me, he was learning and improving in his fight with him. But Mirio also pointed out that Deku did not hurt anyone else except the one that betrayed him, and he only attacked whoever provoked him, so we should be really careful on how to approach him. So All Might tell him, so I think we should not call the police for help, right? You're right, that would be a little bit too much, don't you think? Plus, don't you think that he will think that with this we are going to take Bakugo's side and try to arrest him for what he did? I can see your point, All Might reply. Good, now try searching for him near UA because I don't think he will go that far, plus you are the fastest. All Might nod. He went there as fast as he can to try to cut Deku off, but sadly Deku is faster than they thought, so he just missed him. So for Deku he was going back to the hospital, but he was able to see that Aizawa is waiting for him. He cursed under his breath and sneak away, so he cannot be spotted, and he wait. And Aizawa is persistent, so he doesn't move at all. So Deku decided for the time being he would stay away. So after that Aizawa had enough and he decided to check inside the hospital just in case if Deku is hiding inside. So he searched for a bit, and soon enough he encountered the doctor that he talked with him before, and he asked him if he saw Deku. The doctor, visibly a bit afraid, and shook his head and told him he haven't yet. So Aizawa asked him why is he afraid. The doctor sighed and he told him what happened. No wonder he was upset, Aizawa thought. Anyway, speaking about his mom, how is she? Will she get better soon? The doctor sighed and he told him, no, don't think so. Aizawa was surprised. She just fell and hit her head, right? The doctor sighed once again and he told him the same thing that he did Deku last part. So after he heard everything and her current state, he froze. Recovery girl did told her that her condition is serious, but not this much, so that's why he meant by ruining his life. So he felt like a failure because all of this could have been avoided if he only expelled the Bakugo. Even though he was a hard worker, he always saw him looking down on people and always yelling at them. At first he thought maybe that's it, he can redeem him or change him a bit, but he went too far. But he cannot think like that right now because he needs to search for Izuku. Because from what he got from the doctor, he's changing. Whatever power was that is changing him for the worse. So he leave after he told the doctor if he come back he call him immediately. The doctor nod. So back to Deku, he's walking around, then he saw 3 kids throwing rocks at a random cat. And the cat already look hurt and kids are enjoying it. Deku get pissed and he yelled at them, get the attention. Then he turned around and Deku told them to cut it out. They get close to him and they are taller than him and obviously older than him, just a bit. So they get in front of him and tell him, what do you want? Why are you this cruel? He's just an animal. They smirked and they told him they are just having fun. Having fun by hurting an animal, Deku replied. They got annoyed and told him, look. Then they grabbed him by his shirt. I suggest that you start walking and don't try being a hero. Deku laughed a bit, shocking 3 of them. Then Deku grabbed his hand and started squeezing and squeezing more. He tried to get free but to no avail. Then Deku told him in a cold voice, don't worry, I won't play hero because heroes doesn't exist, they're all fake. And when he said that, his eyes turned red and he started beating the 3 of them to a pulp. And when he's done, all of them are on the ground bleeding and they have some broken bones. Then Deku got close to them. They are afraid, needless to say. What's wrong? I'm just having fun here, just like you did, right? Don't tell me I'm being cruel, because you're just doing the same to this animal and you 3 are just animals in my eyes. So should I continue or not? They cry, they beg, they slowly get up and they start walking away. Then Deku turned to the cat and obviously he's hurt. Deku kneeled down. You're just like me, hurt and alone. Not going to lie, I wish I have a healing quirk right now. At least with that I can try to heal my mom. And while he's doing this, Deku touched the cat, and then the cat started glowing with an aura familiar to Deku. And after a second, the cat gets up and is completely healed. And by the way, it was not hurt too much. Remember this. So after Deku saw the cat and he's the one who healed him, it dawns on him that maybe he can do it again. He speed toward the hospital and went straight to his mom. Then he put his hand on her and tried to use his power again. At first it was not working, but after thinking of what happened and him wishing, he tried again. Then after he opened his eyes, he saw that his mom is glowing with the same aura for a few seconds, and after it disappeared, nothing happened. He shook her a bit, but he's not responding. Then he started crying. Why? It's not working. Why? Because you're weak. I'm weak? You need to get stronger. There is still way more power deep inside of you. You felt it before. Then Deku remembered when he was beating Bakugo up. He was using way more power than he's using right now. But how can I use it? I don't know. You need to train. You need to fight. You need to use your anger. That's the only way. Will that even work? You felt it, didn't you? When you are fighting, you are growing stronger. Deku thinks for a bit, then he looked at his mom, then his eyes turn red. That's the only way. Then Deku exit and start walking outside, and when the doctor saw him, he reached toward the phone. Then Deku speak up. Do you like your hands, Doc? The doctor stopped and looked at Deku. What? You heard me. Do you like your hands? Yeah, I do. Good. Then I suggest that you keep them away from that phone if you want to keep them. I know that those freaks told you to call them whenever I am here. And for your sake, I told you to do otherwise. And by the way, this is not a threat. This is a promise. Do you understand? The doctor is horrified, but he nodded. Good. Then they go exit, and he starts deciding on what to do now. If he want to fight, he need to fight villains, and he know where to find them. But he know that if he start fighting villains, people start noticing him and they start going after him. And he know that it will take him some time to know how to use this new technique properly, and also this power. So basically he wore a mask, that's it. So fast forward a few days and Deku was in a few fights. And even though he's stronger, he's not as strong as he wishes. All Might and Aizawa are still searching for him, but so far to no avail. All Might is thinking of involving the police a bit, or at very least his friend, but Aizawa told him to not do it. Especially after not hearing anything from the doctor for a couple of days, he wanted to see him, so the doctor told him what happened. So all the pros are on this case, double the efforts. So a couple of times, Ectoplasm or Hondak were able to see a glimpse of Deku, but each time they get close to him, Deku just disappear. Even Hondak with his superior smell, he was able to track him far enough, but Deku's current speed is way more enough to avoid him. So during his search, Deku overheard some villains talking about a fight club. And the reason Deku is interesting is because earlier today when he was visiting his mom, the doctor talked to him and told him about the payment for her to stay here. Deku told him, but what about the insurance company? We called them and they told us that they cannot cover this. What is their job? Sorry kid, we tried but it's not my call. Deku sighed and he told him how much. The doctor told him and Deku immediately realized that he cannot pay this. The doctor saw the look on his face and he told him that I can give you a week but that's it. Sorry kid, but this is all I can do. Deku looked down and he cursed everything, so he got out and he let out all his anger toward any villain he encountered, leaving behind him a trail of bodies. Well, they are alive but badly hurt. Until he found these two. At first he was thinking of jumping on them and start beating them. Then he overheard their conversation, so he followed them. And after he followed them for a bit, they arrived at a warehouse in a deserted part of the city, so he kept following them until he heard noise. So he followed the noise and when he arrived he saw a massive ring or a cage surrounded with people, and in that cage there is two people fighting. And Deku realized that it's almost like the sport festival. Just replace the cage with an open field. So after going around a bit, he found where to register, and when he saw his tall and how he looked, they immediately realized that he's a kid. So they tell him to go away, but Deku is adamant of fighting. So the guy behind him tell him to move away. But the second he put his hand on Deku's shoulder, Deku grabbed his hand, crushed it, then he lifted him up sky and slammed him against the ground, knocking him out. Then he turned around and he tell him, so, still think that I'm just a kid? Fine, suit yourself. But you know that you can die here, like, killing is on the table. I know, I'm not an idiot, and I don't care. All I care about is the money. So go ahead. So after waiting a bit, it's Deku's turn. At first his opponent mocked him for being short or just a kid, so he think it will be easy. But Deku have too much on the line to lose, so he immediately power up to 10% one for all, and he rushed at him and thrown the kick. He was barely able to block it, but because there is a lot of power behind the kick, he was sent flying toward the cage with a fractured arm. Then he looked at Deku in disbelief. Deku glared at him and his eyes turned red and he tell him, I want lose, no matter what. Fast forward a couple of minutes and his opponent is on the ground, barely unconscious. Then he looked at Deku and tell him, what are you? You're a demon or what? Then he passed out. And when they saw the display of power, everyone cheered for him. Then they asked him for his name. Deku started thinking, my name, huh? Then he remembered what his opponent just called him, a demon. Deku thinks about it and he told them, call me Majin, and his eyes turned red. And everyone felt a chill down their spine. He's really a Majin, they thought. But then they cheered for him. After that, Deku got his money. You did a good job there, kid. See you soon. Deku turned around and tell him, as long as you have money, I will. So after that, Deku made his way back to his house. So with this, we fast forward a few days. It's been a week since the incident, or to be precise, since last part. So everyone returned to class. And I know some of you hate me because of this, but the one that betrayed Deku, except Bakugo, were allowed back. Because Nizu saw that they are really remorseful for what they did. Plus, Deku gave them enough punishment as it is. So when they met, immediately, Ida and Todoroki were shocked to see the state of their friends, so they asked them what happened. But before they can answer, Aizawa entered the room and he told them to sit down. So he sighed and he told them, let's begin. Ida raised his hand and tell him, sir, Midoriya is not here. He looked down and he told him, Midoriya will not join us today or in the near future. What? Why? What happened? Is he okay? Ida asked. No, think about it, Aizawa replied. You were not here when that happened. When what happened? He asked. Aizawa sighed. Then Mineta speak up and he tell him what happened. Ida was dumbfounded and he looked at Oraka and told her, is it true? Oraka looked down. How could you? He's our friend. Then suddenly half the room started getting cold and half started getting hotter. They looked behind them and saw Todoroki and he exploded. You damn fucking idiots! How could you think that he's a traitor? How? Everyone is speechless because 1. He's using his quirk, both sides. 2nd, he's yelling. 3rd, he cursed. Aizawa told him to calm down. Calm down? Calm down after what they did? How could they possibly think that Izuku can be the traitor? Because if you ask me, it will be Bakugo. Speaking of him, where is he? I will freeze him to his bones. Then Aizawa cancelled his quirk and tell him to calm down, and that will not be necessary. Why? He sighed and he tell him what Deku did to him. So basically, he will not be a hero anymore, and he cannot use his quirk anymore also. Plus, it will take him months to heal, but he will still have some permanent damage. Good, Todoroki said. Now, Midoriya, where is he? We don't know. What do you mean you don't know? We don't know. He just ran away. We searched for him for a week, but we're not able to catch him. Handdog and Ectoplasm were able to see him, but they were not able to catch him. So for now, we don't know where he is. And what about them? He asked. Then he pointed at the one that betrayed Deku. Why are they still here? They almost killed him because of fake information. So why they are still here? And don't tell me it's beyond your control because you told us that you can expel anyone that you want. And this shocked everyone. Todoroki is talking back to Aizawa and basically almost threatening him. Aizawa tell him, my class, my rules. So I decide to keep them. Very well. Then Todoroki get up. Then I don't belong here. Then he get up and walk out. Then Ida gets up. Aizawa sigh and he tell him to go after him and bring him back. Sorry Mr. Aizawa, but I'm with him. Have a nice day. Then he got his stuff and walked out, shocking everyone. Ida, the one that followed the rules, he just walked out. Then another person gets up, shocking everyone. Mineta. Aizawa looked at him and tell him, what about you? Look sir, I may be a pervert and a bit of a coward, but I'm not a traitor. Then he looked at Oraka, and I don't stab people that save me in the back, so I am with the other two. Then he walked out, and soon after that, one by one, everyone left the class except the one that betrayed Deku. Aizawa glared at them and he told them, I'm really second guessing my decision. All of you stay here. I need to talk with Nizu. So while he's doing that, All Might encountered Class 1A and he told them what they are doing here. So they told him. All Might sign, he told them, if you are going to search for him, don't even bother. You cannot use your quirks outside. So you will basically be on foot. Izuku on the other hand is using his quirk, so you will never be able to catch him. Even Ectoplasm and Handdog were able to get close, but they were not able to catch him. Todoroki clenched his fist and tell him, so what now? So we just have to sit and wait? Sadly, yeah. Go back to class and I will tell Aizawa to not punish you. Sorry sir, but we won't. All Might look at them and he tell them, let me guess, it's because of the one who betrayed him? They nod. Look young ones, I will not force you to talk with them, but you have to go back to class. If you don't want to talk to them, it's your choice. Everyone looked at each other and they nod. Todoroki is a bit against it, but when Ida looked at him, he sighed and all of them went back to class. So All Might made his way toward Nizu's office to tell him what just happened. When he entered, he saw Aizawa. Good, you're here. I was able to persuade you students to go back to class, but for them to forgive the one that betrayed Deku, I don't think I can do that. And while this is happening, Deku entered the hospital. He went straight to the doctor and he gave him a bag. What's this? Take it. The doctor take it, he opened it and saw money, a lot. Enough to pay her hospital expense and keeping her here for a couple of months. So needless to say, he was shocked. Then he looked at Deku and tell him, where did you get it? Deku glared at him. That doesn't matter. All that matters is, I pay you, you keep her here. That's it. The doctor nodded and Deku turned around and started walking to his mom's room. But the doctor got worried. Where do a 16-year-old kid get this much money? Even though he's a bit afraid of him, he called Aizawa and he explained the situation. Needless to say, he was shocked that he heard this. He's concerned also about where Deku is getting this much money. So after he hung up, he told Nizu and All Might. All Might want to go, but Aizawa told him to stay here. You're way too big, so he will see you from afar. But I can sneak on him and follow him. So he did just that. He went straight to the hospital and he waited. And after a few hours, he saw Deku getting out. He followed him and he saw him sneak into an alleyway and Deku put on a mask. And Aizawa did hear some reports about someone wearing a mask and he's beating up every villain that he encountered. So he suspected it was Deku, because the timeline with Deku disappearing or running away and this vigilante showing up is almost the same. So after that he followed Deku for a bit and he followed him to a warehouse, the same warehouse. So he sneaked inside and saw him fighting and his eyes widened. So that's how he was getting money. Midoriya. Damn it. So Deku walked inside the ring, waiting for his opponent. So you're the one I'm going to fight, huh? I heard about you. Deku look up to see the rapper. Yeah, let's get this over with. Cold one. Anyway, I'm just here for a fight, so from what I heard, then he smirk. I will enjoy this one. Both of them get ready, and I'm going to stop it right here. So what do you think of it, guys? Will Deku win? Will his power show up again? Will he be able to control it? Will he be able to heal Inko? What will Azawa do? Leave your thoughts in comments down below, and if you enjoyed the video, drop a like, and like I told you, 500 likes and I will make another part of this series. And if you are new, subscribe, there is more videos like this coming, and like always guys, peace.